Hey Ratbags, it's Jade today giving you a guide on how to get all of the garden turbo discs and some crucial information, especially about which ones you should really go for first and what's going to be worth it. Something you might want to really know is it's going to cost 27,000 raw science to buy every single upgrade that you get from the 4 chips that are available. So for players going to start the Toxic Tangle update, or for players that are watching this long after, it's something to bear in mind. Maybe don't turn off the mixers until you've got a good amount of raw science. I would say you want at least 15,000 before you start exploring the gardens properly. And as of recording, the only way to get more raw science is by getting raids. As soon as you do the mixers, of course, they stop the raids. Anyway, let's go. Let's crack on. The hedge first. So pretty basic, but the hedge in the north area of the park is the one that you should go for first. This is going to give you the advanced buildings turbo disc, which will unlock things like the oven, allowing you to make your mushroom bricks and eventually some of the pumpkin stuff as well. Also gives you the mighty glob, sturdy plating and whetstone so that you can upgrade your weapons and armour past level 3. Also got the glue masher and the feathered roofs, so if you're a builder, definitely the last one is something you want to get. But as you can see from the footage, it's pretty simple. Just work your way up to the top of the hedge. There will be a number of all weavers, and this is also where you do collect your all weaver eggs from now on. You're looking for a hedge that might be guarded by a wolf spider. So there's not really much more loot other than 500 raw science, so grab that, and the coordinates are 96 north minus 12 east. So once you've got your weapon upgrades unlocked, I definitely recommend getting obviously the advanced production buildings. The oven's crucial because you still need the oven to go ahead and make your smithing and mighty stuff, and then yeah, smithing the mighty glob would be next. So that will cost you 4,000 raw science. You do get 1,000 raw science for handing it back in. I don't think you really need the glue masher, not just yet, until you got a good abundance or you've unlocked a lot more important things, because you can still use bug parts to go ahead and repair your gear. This is a change from Grounded 1. Previously, once you got to a certain level, you could only use glue to repair your items, but now you can choose bug parts or glue. And unless you're a builder, of course, you're probably not going to need as much of the feather roofs. So save yourself some raw science and get what I've suggested first. Next up, the Fairy House turbo disc. You'll find this all the way in the northeast of the map, 78 north, 47 east. Now, I'm presuming you've got the all weaver since you just probably gone and got the hedge. So the cabbage patch does offer a good way to get up, but one of the easiest ones is to actually find the green hose, and that will take you up to this higher flower bed and the Fairy House. Just take note of the wolf spider that's usually guarding it. When you get down here, this is actually the location that you need to come back for some of the story content. So if you're getting this chip a little bit early, don't try doing anything else in here until you've started to go ahead and stop the leaks from happening. As I do believe you can't activate them until you've started the early part of the quest to stop the leaks coming out of the hose. There'll be a laboratory with some notes and more, but what you really need to do is jump down the little hole. Take care of the Ogre Rust Beetle, which is weak to slashing and resistant to sour and stabbing. So yeah, don't bring your mosquito sword here, or any spears. I recommend bringing plenty of healing smoothies or bandages, as the sizzle will kick in, so make sure you've gone and eaten 10 sizzle candies, and by now you should have done that to activate the mutation, as both parts of this laboratory do have sizzle, although you can turn it off if you are following the story. So if you're in no big rush, you actually want to get to this place when you kind of meant to, then just go and follow the story from Sloane once you've reached the archives. She'll tell you to go and repair the leaks. There's plenty of candies in here. Once you've got them all though, head through the door and you'll be in the laboratory where you can pick up the next turbo disc. Slotting this into one of the ranger stations gives you 2,000 raw science. You'll unlock the ladybug nest so that you can go and get a ladybug egg and hatch it. That will set you back 2,000 raw science. The smithing mint glob, 1,500 raw science, and the cookbook fairy house, which gives you the omelette and cheese and fries. Now, of course, I'm not going to sit here and say don't get the ladybug. It all just depends though on how much you really love the buggies. The ladybug really isn't that needed. It is good for taking on aerial threats, especially some of the wasps, and it does serious damage to rust beetles too. There's a few parts in the greenhouse where you might want to consider using it to get rid of some of the tang, and maybe for the boss fight at the end. But I've got to be honest, I wouldn't say it's absolutely essential. I'd go for the mint glob. with crickets, bombardier beetles, obviously ladybugs, mosquitoes, potato beetles, praying mantis nymphs and stink bugs all weak to fresh in some way or shape or form, either 50% or 25%, and then any of the orc or the ogre variants will also be weak to fresh. So what about the meals? Is it worth getting these? Well, the omelette does give you a reduction in the tang damage that you receive by quite a big amount, 75%, and the Thorns effect, that actually gives you 75% of incoming damage back to the attacker. You'll get a passive healing buff of 2 health every 5 seconds as well, and of course they do give you 70 food when you eat them. Scarab bits and algae, pretty easy to get. The black ant eggs, you're meant to be killing some of the regular workers. You've got a chance of them dropping from them. At the moment, it's really hard to actually find just black eggs on the floor like you do with the red ants. I'm sure that will change once they add the black ant hill, which isn't coming in the spring update. There are definitely places where the tang will cause you some damage, but I would still say you can negate most of it with just a good amount of heals and taking your armor off before you go for a swim. So if you are going to get this, it's probably also more for the cheese and fries, although it's a bit hard to get hold of. It does give you a 10% damage resist buff, which is probably the strongest on its very own in all consumables. But you are going to need roach milk as well as some of the snail slime and potato bits. And yes, you'll pick these up from defeating cockroach queens, not regular cockroaches, just the queens or the orc variants. So until you've built up a good supply of maybe roach milk, I wouldn't buy this, again, until you've got some of the more important unlocks first. Okay, next up, the greenhouse sour chip. Turbo disc, Jade, turbo disc, they're not called chips anymore. There's quite a few different ways that you can reach the top of the greenhouse, either on the trellis on the side, and there's a few branches on either side of the greenhouse that you can also go up, or through the window. But we're not actually right on top where we need to be on top of the lights that are inside the greenhouse. So if you head over to the very southwest corner of the greenhouse, drop down onto this branch here, turn around and you'll see the black cable leading to the lights. Now you want to do this before the actual power gets turned on as part of the quest line, otherwise this place becomes a sizzle nightmare. As I recalled, the sizzle had some issues where it was basically much stronger than it normally is. Hop across from one light fixture to the other and avoid the bombardier beetles, and you will then come across a body with the data chip and some really rubbish loot. And the coordinates are 52 north, 35 east. This of course unlocks the Pinecone build sets, so obviously you might want to get hold of that if you're a builder. Personally, I'm not spending 2,500 on a couple of rugs. The main thing that you're here for is the sour globs, and I would recommend getting this. A lot of creatures, just like they're weak to fresh, a lot of them are also weak to sour. There's a few like the rust beetle that of course aren't weak to it at all, they're actually pretty resistant. But overall you'll notice there's quite a few creatures in the gardens that are weak to sour, and I'm sure it's going to be the case in the next update too. And the easiest one of all is the spicy glob. Obviously this is something, yeah, for sure you might want to consider, but bear in mind you can or should already have the spicy katana. And if you really take a look at fresh weapons, then you've probably got the icicles. So there's definitely an argument that says, yep, sour should be the one that you get out of all three, since you don't get access to the sour katana until you've gone ahead and completed a lot of story action. But spicy's always been a firm favourite because of so many spiders being weak to it. So head all the way to the southwest part of the map, especially along the wall, and you're looking for this pumpkin here that you can see when you drop down. It's pretty much the largest one, and on one side of it there will be an opening, so you don't even have to get it with an axe. You can kind of rush this early if you really want to. And again, there might be a wolf spider guarding it inside here, but you should find some netting that you can walk across, and right on the top here is another body with some more loot and another chip. 14 north, 33 east. And be on the lookout for them wasps as you're going down. You'll also get another 1,000 more science for handing this one in, and 2,000 for the sour. The cookery recipe is the pumpkin patch at 2,500, gives you full feast, which not only gives you full defense but also gives you max stamina boost as well, making this much better than some of the previous meals in the past that only just gave full defense. And the wasp roll is going to help against the more stronger wasp venom. Now the wasp roll is kind of a little bit weak sauce. It reduces the rate of venom build up by 25% and venom damage by 30%. But I truly think just having the regular smoothies that you get from the scorpidotes and stuff are usually good enough to negate a lot of the venom damage. So another one I would put on the back burner for now. And if you're absolutely rolling in raw science, well, you can treat yourself for 3000 raw science to the garden sign set. All pretty cute, no real huge surprises, but definitely if you want to get your decorations on, you might want to consider buying it. And there you go, agree me, disagree me, it doesn't really matter, it's not that much of a big deal. Obviously you might want all of these unlocks, just hopefully we get better ways to grind that raw science. Until next time, rat bags, laters.